Hello, Aquano here, and we're back for another Trails in the Sky first chapter guide, and this time we're going to start our series of individual endgame builds. So, in this video we're going to be talking about the best builds for Estelle Bright. Now, this will be about endgame builds, but if you're not at the end of the game yet, you can still watch this video and have an idea of how to build her. You can use the same builds, but with weaker quartz, right? So yeah, I'll be talking about all of her like potential builds. Obviously I can't talk about everything since Estelle is like the most versatile character in the game, so I will be talking about like the 4 best builds on Estelle according to me. Again, completely subjective, but I have cleared the final boss on nightmare difficulty with 2 of these builds, and I think the other 2 builds are also pretty good. Also, sorry for how late this video is. I kind of got busy with midterms. Yes, you know, I'm younger than I actually look, but yeah, just happened. I got busy. Sorry. I'll try to upload the 8 videos of this series for every party member as quick as I can. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So let's talk about the first build, and I like to call this one a supportive physical tank. So she's going to be like a sub DPS. If you're using physical Agathe or physical Joshua, she will be there to support them in terms of physical damage. But she's mainly here to tank hits and disrupt the enemies with her her crafts, canceling their spells with the comet, or just stunning them with hard hit. So the most important quartz for this build is indeed the sweet aroma quartz. You want it in the middle because it has a lot of elemental values. You want break 3 and defense 3 on the same line. Why? You're not going to use any earth spells, but the reason why is because you want the other 3 on the other side. Action 3 and hit 3 being on the same line is very important for her to hit clock up EX. At the start of battle, she wants to clock up EX herself, ideally. You won't be really casting that many arts on her. You have ideally 2 other art caster if you're playing physical Estelle and then another physical character, but you never know. So that's why we have HP 3 on the same line as these 3, combined with the 3 blue, the 3 water from Sweet Aroma, allows her to reach Latira, Thelis, and stuff like that. So she's kind of here to hit hard. That's why she has Break 3, gives her 50 strength. Well, because it is the 3+. If you have hit 3+, another 50 strength. The accuracy here is very important because it allows her to not miss her crafts, and you don't want her to miss her crafts. She needs to hit those. So this is very, very important. HP 3 and defense 3 are here to make her tankier. You can switch them for something else. I would say the really important quartz that you cannot switch: Sweet Aroma, Action 3, Hit 3, and Break 3+, because combined with her her craft, Hard Break, she can be like a machine at stunning the enemy constantly. So she is very good at doing that. But yeah, ideally, I would recommend these 6 quartz in these positions for the tank support build on Estelle. For accessories, you want something to make her tankier, hit harder, and resist status ailments. So the one thing that I recommend to put on her no matter what on her supports build are the Yellow Sphere Plus. The spheres are OP, they give 20 speed, and this one gives 150 for each defenses. An insane one. It makes her completely immune to seal and stat debuffs. Absolutely crazy. Red Sphere here, you can replace it by many other physical accessories. Just give her something that allows her to hit harder, and at the same time this one has a good passive of giving her immunity to freeze, petrify, and delay, and the 20 speed is insane. So these 2 combined gives her a whopping 40 speed. So yeah, let's go to the next build. The second build is very, very similar. I just switched out a couple orbments, and it's pretty much a more offensive physical build. So the reason why I didn't give her attack 3+ in the the earlier build is because it removes 15% defense, and she was meant to be kind of like a tank that also can do damage, kind of like a bruiser build, a juggernaut. But in this case, we're going full damage. Action 3 and Hit 3, Break 3 will stay here because they give a lot of strength. You could replace this by Impede 3+ if you want, but I don't really like it because she already has Impede on her crafts, so I'd rather give that one to another character like Joshua, for example. But the 5 more important quartz in this build are these 5. The only one that I would replace is maybe Hidden Leaf. This spot is up to your liking. If you want to give her more evasion at the same time as giving her crit, you go with Hidden Leaf. If you already have Hidden Leaf on another character as like an evasion build, you can give her then something to give her more strength, like Chaos Blade or something like that. But Strike 3, Attack 3, Action 3, Hit 3, they're all absolutely necessary for a physical DPS. I personally absolutely love Break 3 because of the 30% stun value increase. Since she hits a lot of people with her crafts, I really like to increase the stun value, because that makes the stunning the enemy is very important, because it makes them lose a turn. So like I said here, I give her Hidden Leaf. Now, the one thing you need to note about this build is that you actually don't mind losing defense for getting something else. So earlier I had the Sylvan Boots because it's the female only boot, and it gives actually pretty good defenses, and it gives 10 speed. The thing is, you don't really need it as much because you're going full damage, so might as well go for the Composite Plus or any other boots that gives you actual evasion. Why? Because you have the Hidden Leaf, even if you don't have the Hidden Leaf, you're still a squishy damage dealer, so having some evasion to help you dodge some hits and make it easier to survive is pretty good. So I would go for Composite Plus or any other boots that give you evasion instead of the Sylvan Boots that are just good for a bit more defense. It's like, you don't lose that much defense. Look at here. You don't even lose defense. You only lose some ADF, ATS, only 1 speed. So it's certainly not a big deal. But in exchange, you get 6% evasion, which is huge. It allows us to hit 41%. I recommend the Red Sphere like earlier, but I switched out the Yellow Sphere for Tiger Heart because it gives 120 strength, which is crazy. You could also give her the 2 accessories that help her generate CP, like the Victory Headband and the Gladiator Belt, but I prefer to have those on like Joshua or Agathe. Estelle is still someone who's here to just do like physical damage without being the main physical DPS. If she is your only physical DPS, like let's say you're playing magical Joshua and then full tank Zen and then Chloe, then yeah, you could give her both of the generating, the CP generating accessories, and then give those 2 to Zen, for example. So yeah, that's it for the more DPS, physical DPS build. Let's talk about the 2 magical builds next. Now, let's talk about magical DPS, aka Arts Caster Estelle. So, there are usually kind of like 5 quartz you really want on a spellcaster. So you don't really have much customization when you're making a cast build. You always need EP cut 3, action 3, cast 3, and mind 3. If you're making a magical DPS, you need those 4. And then usually EP 3, especially in Estelle's case, because her max EP is not that big naturally. Now, when you remove EP 3, her max EP is actually not that bad. It is 850. If you think 850 is good for you, because, you know, EP cut 3 does cut by a lot, you know, half. So it can be pretty good. But if you don't feel comfortable in terms of EP, you can definitely switch EP3 for any other course that gives you elemental coverage, because with this build we only hit with time arts and water arts. Why? Well, because we don't have much choice. Since we have mind 3, it's better to start to spec into water, since we already are forced to use a water quartz, because that's the one that gives us the precious ATS boost. So we will be using Heavenly Insight, a quartz you get in the late game. I'm pretty sure you get it in the final dungeon. I don't have the exact location, but make sure to get every single chest in the final dungeon to get this one. This one not only gives your arts more range, but it also gives you 5 water, which allows you to hit Diamond Dust. Diamond Dust doesn't really require much, it only requires 5 water, 5 Mirage, and guess what this one gives you? Yeah, exactly. So it's the 5 Mirage you need to hit Diamond Dust. Now, in terms of positioning, you just need these 3 on the same line. Together, they'll allow you to unlock things like White Gehenna and Clock Up EX. White Gehenna is a very spammable art, because as a S rank time arts, it hits everything for very hard. It can blind them and reduce their strength. Now, let's talk about equipment. So you want the Sylvan boots back, obviously, for the 15 ATS. Valkyrie dress is pretty good. Now, it does give 15 strength, but the insane amount of defense it gives, and it's a female-only thing, so just give it to her. Now, for accessories, I highly recommend the Blue Sphere Plus and the Crimson Eye Plus. These are two spheres you should really focus on upgrading first among the things you want to upgrade. Like I said in my final dungeon guide video, these two are high priority. If you want the exact priority list and order of all the things you should upgrade in the final dungeon, make sure to watch my final dungeon video, which will be linked in the description and the pinned comment. But that's it for the magical DPS build. Let's go to our last build, the magical support. Now, let's talk about the support, the magical support build, which is very interesting because it is so good on her. It fits her so well, almost as good as the physical support, but it's unfortunately the build I recommend the least. Why? Because even though she does this job very well, I don't recommend playing her as a magical support because Chloe does this job just way better. Why? Because of her S-Craft, which revives the entire team, gives it a shield. It's just broken, it's just broken. So if you are using Chloe, I don't recommend building this on Estelle because it will be kind of redundant. I recommend the first build I showed you guys, which is the physical support instead. If you want to play Estelle as a support, it would be physical. If you want to play her as a magical support, kind of like an arts caster support, then I would only recommend if you're not playing Chloe because, like I said, a bit redundant. But let's talk about the build nonetheless. If you are not watching as someone that's in the end game, then this build is very useful for you because outside of chapter 2 where you have Chloe, this build is very, very good. So Sweet Aroma in the center because of the elemental value and because of how well it helps the team. It helps her tank hits, which then she can easily help the, she can not only heal the team, but she can also prevent them from taking hits by taking them herself. Now, very important positioning. You want EP cut 3 and defense 3 on the same line. Why? Because that will give you access to Earth Wall. Earth Wall, very important, makes your entire team immune for one hit. It helps with the final boss. Then you want HP 3 and the same line as Cast 3 with Action 3 because that would allow you to unlock stuff like Lacuria, Thelis, and Latira. So this positioning is extremely important. This is one of the most sensitive build when it comes to positioning. You really need to put these quartz in the exact same lines. Like, obviously, it doesn't matter if defense 3 is here or here, but put these two in the same line, and then put these 3 on the same lines, and then put Sweet Aroma in the center. So yeah, that's it for the support. Estelle, if you've been watching my previous videos, you know what this build does. It should help the team in many different ways. But let's talk about her equipments for now. Let's talk about the gear. So you want to use Sylvan boots regular dress as always. If you find better gear, go ahead. You just want to be tanky as possible, honestly. And then Grail Locket here is very important because you're the pillar of your team. You want to resist all ailments, get a boost in EP and HP. Yellow Sphere, very recommended. Now, yes, the status ailment immunity is a bit redundant, but 150 for each defenses and the very precious 20 speed. This is kind of like the best accessory to make you very tanky and fast at the same time. So putting that on a tank magical support is very good. Now, I wanted to do a last segment about her weapon because, some people did tell me that, there's a better weapon and everything, and I know that, trust me, I know. The thing is, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, there are, ultimate weapons in the game, but I didn't talk about them because I feel like 90% of people just miss them because it's a bit stupid. To get them, you need to have all the books, and it's a bit complicated. So, if you are in the final dungeon already, and you don't have them, it's a bit too late. So if you don't have all the books, because you can't exit the dungeon to go get the books you missed, and some books you missed might be in chapters way before. So don't worry about it. The game is easily clearable with the arc rod on nightmare difficulty. I've done it myself. I haven't used a single ultimate weapon, honestly, because I just kind of forgot about them mid playthrough and I didn't buy all the books. So yeah, don't worry about the ultimate weapons at all unless you really are a completionist, but it's not worth reloading a previous save just to get the books. So yeah, that was it for the best Estelle builds. Again, according to me, if you have any other builds to recommend, feel free to do so. I think this would be like the most rich video in terms of recommendations because Estelle is the most versatile character in the games. She has no elemental restrictions, and she has pretty all-rounder-ish base stats, so you can really play her however you want. You know, evasion tank is one of them that I didn't. Full evasion tank is one build that I haven't mentioned. Many other different builds, and all the builds I showed you guys have some variations that you can replace. Usually there's like one quartz that you can replace with a lot of things, so feel free to be creative and play how you want. So I started with Estelle because, you know, she is the first character, and I will be going in order of story. So next will be Joshua, Sherazade, and, you know, again and again. You know the order, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already to not miss the future guides, and I'll see you guys in the Joshua build guide. It was Aquano. Peace!